Welcome back, everybody. James Bouligny here with James Reid from ASU. You're the athletic director, man.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Let's talk about fall real quick. Let's talk about football. Wrap it up. I mean,
Okay.
football's wrapped up already. Great season from
We
the
did.
football
We
team.
had an extremely good fall for Angelo State Athletics. Probably the best in the history of the school when you combine all three.
Right.
The things that we've accomplished with our team sports, football, soccer, and volleyball, we've accomplished before to some extent, but not all in the same semester and same fall. So winning 4 different Lone Star Conference championships, 3 regular seasons, and then soccer also piggybacked on their regular season Lone Star Conference championship with a tournament championship as well. And then all 3 of them getting into the NCAA playoffs. Football, that was the second Lone Star Conference championship in the last 3 years for them, and it had been a 40-year drought since then. So
Right.
they really have things going there, and we're excited. We kind of bowed out of the playoffs a little earlier than we intended, but we're excited to be able to have that home playoff game. And then, shortly on the heels of that, soccer got on a great run, ended up making a Sweet 16, which is the farthest they've ever gone. And then volleyball ended up being the number 1 team in the region, and we ended up hosting that regional tournament. And, of course, they won it in very dramatic fashion and then went on and made it to the Final Four. So just a great, great start for our year for Angelo State and Angelo State Athletics. And, we're in the midst of basketball right now, and they're carrying the torch. And then this weekend, tomorrow
Right,
specifically,
tomorrow.
we have our spring sports kicking off, and hopefully they will continue as well.
All right. Yeah. No, I brought up football, but yeah, volleyball did
Yeah.
very well. Soccer did very well. I mean, how does it feel as an athletic director to have everything kind of
Well, I tell our coaches, as long as you guys are winning, it makes my job easy.
right?
And I say that jokingly, but we have such a great coaching staff there, and they understand our values, and they understand our vision and what we want to accomplish, and they understand the role that we play within the role of the university as a whole. And they do a wonderful job of not just getting great athletes to our campus, but getting the right athletes to our campus.
Right.
Kids that are serious about their academics, that are interested in being involved in the community, and covering all 3 of the aspects that we put expectations on our student athletes about to excel in the classroom and in the field of competition, and then also in our community. And so they do a good job of vetting that through the recruiting process and making sure they get kids in here that are going to be able to graduate from here, are going to be able to be good stewards in the community and good ambassadors for us when they go around. And so it doesn't surprise me, that on the heels of that, we have success coming from that. And I think that, if you focus on the process of creating good young men and women, not just
Right.
good young men and women athletes, but good young men and women, then the athletic success will come. And they're definitely a testament to that. And that's across all of our sports. So we're excited about that.
No, you said it makes your job easier, but it probably makes it a lot more fun too. You're winning, everybody's happy. You're winning, and everything is just flowing extremely well.
We joke around the office. I mean, it's a lot of extra work, obviously. I tell them all the time. I have colleagues that once the last football game's over, they're done. Once
Right.
the last volleyball match is over, they're done. Once the last soccer match is over, and we're going all the way into December, and so it does create for a longer semester. It does create for more work, but it is more fun, and we'd much
Right.
rather be in that scenario than the opposite scenario.
Right. No, I mean, so if you're going to go apply at ASU sports department, you're in it for the long haul.
Exactly. We try to take care of our people. There's so much that goes on behind the scenes that general public's not aware of. Our athletic communications, our
Right.
athletic training,
Right.
our academics, our compliance, and all that. And so as our sports do better and as we are successful, it does create more work on that end. But that was one of the things that when we go through our process of interviewing and hiring people, we talk about that
Right.
our expectation is to be playing into the Final Four and the championship match,
Right.
or championship game. And so it makes for a year for us that begins in late July. And hopefully if baseball does what they do every year, and softball and track,
Right.
it ends in June. And, that makes for a short summer, but that's okay because it gives us a lot of things to do, but it's a lot of fun things to do.
Last couple of years, you had to book that flight to Cary for the
sure.
baseball team.
And
And
hopefully
how-
we'll do it again.
Right? No, I mean, I've read he's the winningest program the last couple of years, right?
Yes, for sure. And so,
I mean-
I think even, Coach Brooks has done a wonderful job with that program from its inception, and they've been successful all along. But he's really, they've really dialed in the last several years, and not discounting the national championship year that we won it, but just the consistency that they've had to be able to go back to back to back to back to the World Series is just, I mean, well, there's only 2 programs that have ever done it, and in all divisions, and so it's something to hang our hat on, and he and his staff do a wonderful job. And those guys, they know that when they come here. That's the expectation that his players have when he recruits them. They understand that they've got a great opportunity to be playing a national championship and for a national championship.
Right, and that just helps bring eyes to the program. And
oh, for sure. You know, we've got opening day this weekend. We're at home tomorrow. It's a 3:00 start. You know, there'll be a lot of kids out there. I don't know how their parents swing that. I know Coach Brooks sends out a little letter excusing them from school.
Everybody should be excused regardless, just because.
But you know, it's because of the excitement around that program, and you know, it's good for our community, I think, and so that shows, and really in all of our sports. When we start looking at the attendance that we have in all of our different sports, it's off the chart. There's, you know, I talked to a lot of my colleagues, you know, and if you watch any of our games on the road, there might be 50 people in the stands, you know, and we're packed every time we have an event. So.
No, I mean, every year I went last year to a Rams game, it was always busy. There's always one guy heckling. I'd love to interview that guy who just yells from the stands all game.
We have a few of those that's their life's mission is to heckle the other team. So
I mean, it's baseball. It's fun though.
As long as they keep it clean,
it's all in good humor and good faith and everything.
Right.
But softball made it last year too. I didn't make it a championship, but they made the playoffs last year.
Coach Scott's got one of the winningest programs here on our campus as well. Of course, he won a national championship as well in the early 2000s, and he's very excited about the team that he has this year. He's got an older team, a lot of kids back and last year.
They were young last year.
Last year they finished 3rd in the conference, and obviously other people took note of that. They're coming into the season with an 11th preseason ranking nationally, and so you know that's pretty exciting. And they're on the road to get started. We'll be back home next weekend. They get their Georgia and Oldham McCorkle tournament going, so it'll be our first chance to see them at home. But we're hoping they get down there to Houston and get about 5 wins and come back home undefeated. So
all right, and tennis, of course, made to Florida last year.
We can just add on any
sport
we want.
Let's just keep talking about how great ASU sports are.
Indoor track's been going already since December, and they're pushing toward their indoor conference championship that'll come at the end of February. But we've got golf that'll be leaving Sunday, and they've got a 3-day tournament down in Laredo this weekend. Tennis is at home this weekend. We play tomorrow at noon, and then Sunday at noon, and it kind of gets them going. And they came off the best year they'd ever had last year as they made it to the national tournament, Sweet 16, and had a doubles team that made it to the national championship match in the fall tournament this past fall. So a lot of expectations there for Coach Potoff and his group, and you know, and then it rolls once indoor track ends and outdoor track begins. But there'll be several busy weekends like this weekend where we have, I don't know, we've got about 7-10 events this weekend. I can't remember off the top of my head, but
we've had a couple come in and talk about just the Ram Jam weekends when everything is going on. I'm like, man, it's just insane down there.
And it is, and you know, and that's funny you mentioned Ram Jam, which is football tailgates, but we're already working on that schedule, and it'll be being released probably here in the next few weeks. Football's in the middle of wrapping up their high school recruiting. We've got a signing day event next Wednesday to announce all their new signees at the Alumni Center that Wednesday afternoon, and so they'll begin spring ball later this month, and then it rolls right into the summer and into the fall. It's just kind of a never-ending cycle. So
that's what's great about football. Yeah, it's the off season, but you've got hirings and recruitings and everything going on, so it's a lot of fun. And let's talk about the golf facility.
Okay,
is that opened up yet, or is it getting right there?
I guess we call it a soft opening. We got the green light to let the young ladies get over there and get in the locker rooms and things like that. The course portion of it has been completed for the most part, where they've been able to get out there and practice and things like that. But we're still trying to finalize a few things inside the clubhouse. But they're able to get in there. We're missing some furniture right now. It's been on back order, but got a good simulator in there and have another simulator coming, and so just trying to get that space ready for them to be able to utilize it to its maximum capacity. We're going to have a grand opening for that late in March. And so public will be able to come out and check that out and kind of see that facility.
I'd love to go see it, man. We've heard all about it for a year. And
it's pretty neat.
You see it from Knickerbocker, and you see it going in back, and you're like, what's going on? And is it ready yet?
It is really a neat they've done a wonderful job, the construction crew and the company that put that in, just the abilities that those young ladies will have to be able to work on their short game in so many different scenarios. There's different hitting spots out there, so you can play different distances. There's different undulations on the greens. There's different slopes and different lengths of rough out there, even though it's all artificial grass. There's 4 different lengths out there when you include the green. And so how they broom the green and everything can adjust it to whether it's faster, slower. So it's really a neat facility that gives our young ladies an opportunity to really cover every aspect of their game on our campus, without actually playing. Because when they open up the hitting bays, and they're able to pick up their driver and hit long balls out there as well. So it's a good opportunity for them.
Well, great. And do we miss anything?
No, I don't think so.
I mean, we'll just talk. I mean, talk about these kids who are coming in real quick. The recruits. What can they expect from the coaches there at ASU?
Well, we can't talk about names or anything, but the quality that Coach Gersh is getting it seems to be getting higher and higher every single year. There's a lot of factors that figure into that. Some of it has to do with what's going on at the Division I level, obviously, but a big part of it is when you can walk into a young man's living room and talk about deep NCAA playoff runs, hosting NCAA playoff games, winning conference 2 of the last 3 years, then that definitely is much more appealing to those kids. And so they've been able to secure some commitments, verbal commitments from some really talented kids. I think every year over the last 5 years, more and more of our freshmen have come in with the potential to be able to play that first year. The idea still is to be able to grow those high school graduating seniors into men by their 5th year, and look at that redshirt opportunity as a freshman. But we've had freshmen on our campus for the last 4 years in a row that have actually played as freshmen, and that says a lot, when they can come in as a freshman and be able to compete and get on the field and be competitive. So as that continues to go that way, we might see that more and more often. But it's about building a program, and Coach Gersh will tell you that. It's not about just filling positions that are on the roster, but it's about building a program, and that means getting the right fit and making sure that you've got the depth you need at certain places and the skill you need at certain places to be able to trot out there week in and week out onto the field. And it's a grueling schedule, obviously, just like all of it is, but to be able to withstand the rigors of it and be able to then go hopefully on a deep playoff run and end up playing 14, 15 games. So.
Right. I mean, you get some of these high schools, they started as freshmen, so they've always been on that starting deal. Right. So sitting might be kind of awkward, but it's not about, like you said, it's about growing young men and young women to be better people and, to graduate them with, flying colors. And
I had one of our coaches one time put it this way, that, as a freshman in college, you're like an 8th grader, and so he explained it, how well would you have done as an 8th grader against seniors in high school, and so, but we do see that level increasing. There's been some changes in NCAA legislation that has opened the door for freshmen to be able to play in some games without using a year of eligibility, and so that's been very fortunate for us to be able to utilize that to help get those kids, because it is hard when you come out of a situation where you might have been playing in the state championship game. So, I mean, you've been playing, like you said, from the time you were a freshman, you might have been on varsity, and all of a sudden you're standing on the sideline.
Right.
And
that's also a lot of small school guys, too, because I covered the small schools a lot.
Right.
And, you might have a freshman come out there and play on a small school, but you move up to D2 level, there's a big difference there. It's like moving from D2 to D1 and then D1 to the NFL. There's just a big difference in talent and work.
And that's the Coach Gersh and his staff do a wonderful job when they have those kids that are in those situations where, yes, they could potentially play and possibly contribute a little bit this year, get a few minutes. Do you want to burn that year for a little bit of time, or do you save that year and then get a lot of time for the next 4 years? And so that legislative change has helped all of our sports, because it's allowed us to get some kids in and get those competition juices flowing to be able to understand what it's all about. Because you can think about, I think I know what it's all about, but until you get out there on the court playing or on the field playing and you're in the midst of it, then you really realize what it's about. So that has really helped to hopefully educate those kids to understand, okay, if I want to be impactful at this level, then I've got to be able to do X, Y, Z. And that's what we hope, to give them enough of a taste where they can be motivated to get into the off season and get in the weight room and get into summer workouts and be able to come back and make a difference when they get to fall camp.
Right. Yeah, and that's not just for football. That's for every sport, though.
It is.
You really got to sink your teeth in and go.
You do, and you know, it's different than high school, and that's, you know, having coached for many years, that was one of the things that you know, I had to explain to the recruits. You know, it might, track is track because I coach track, football's football, right. Basketball's basketball, but it is different, and it's not a job, but it's more like a job than it was in high school, and so it doesn't have to be the first thing on your mind every minute of the day, but it has to be a consideration in all your decisions. Right. When you start talking about how much sleep I need to get, you know, how do I need to fuel my body, how do I need to hydrate, and I mean, when you're considering all those aspects in your everyday little decisions, when athletics is a consideration of that, then those kids will really start making a jump and seeing some things change for them.
Right. No, I was in track. I remember taking that week off for spring break and then going back like, oh, this is a little more difficult than I thought it was.
Yeah, that's track. I used to tell them, I said, you better not take more than 2 days off or you're going to be in trouble when we get back, because it doesn't wait for anybody. You know, that's the thing that you try to tell them. You hear all the cliches, but, you know, my deal with as a coach is that, you know, we might not win, but it's not because we got outworked. And so we were a blue-collar type team, and a lot of our kids are like that in our program right now. We're just working extremely hard, have great work ethic, put the nose to the grindstone, and figure out what it takes to get there and get there. And I think that's why we've been able to see the success we've had as a department and in all of our different sports, because a lot of our coaches are like that. They understand that and know what it takes to be successful at this level.
Absolutely, man. I mean, it certainly shows.
Well, I appreciate that.
As deep as y'all go in every sport, it certainly shows.
Like I said, I'm very blessed. We got a great group of coaches. We've got a great support staff, and then we've just got great student athletes that they love Angelo State and they love athletics. And like I said, you know, I'm not going to say we don't have a few knuckleheads out there, but for the most part, our kids understand those 3 areas that we hold them accountable to, of excelling in the classroom and in the community and in athletics. And they buy into that, and that's why I think we see the fruits of their labor.
Well, let's face it, every school, and from 1A to 6A, from D3 to D1, even the NFL, you know, the pros, they all have knuckleheads every now and again.
Well, exactly. So, but
do you learn from it?
Exactly. That's exactly right. So,
all right. Kevin Brooks said, season starts tomorrow. How much does it cost to get into the game?
This year, it's general admission is 8 and 10, so 8 for students, 10 for adults. So very cheap ticket, obviously. Get in. The weather's supposed to be great. I don't know who dialed it.
I think it's like 75 on Saturday, so it's going to be beautiful.
So I don't know who dialed it up, but that's quite a change from what we normally get this first weekend.
It's the good Lord looking out for you.
It is. It's hard to believe that we're playing baseball in January, but we are. But there's been many opening series where I've sat up in the bleachers and just froze to death because of that north wind blowing. So it's going to be a wonderful weekend to get out and see baseball, because you can enjoy the outdoor weather. But we've got basketball tonight, 2 games tonight at the Janelle Center, and then we have 2 basketball games on Saturday as well. Like I said, baseball tomorrow at 3, tennis at 12, then baseball at 1 and 3 on Saturday, and baseball again at 1 on Sunday.
All right.
With tennis. So.
All right. So print off the letter, take it to your job, say, hey, Kevin Brooks said it's okay.
That's right. So
taking my kid out of school, go watch the game.
It'll be a great start to the season. Coach Brooks and them are excited, and I talked to those kids, and they've been putting in a lot of time and energy, and you know, that run last year that they made, even though we came up a little short, has just spurred them on to.
It's got to make them hungry though to get back.
Most definitely.
Go get one more.
They want to get back there, but they're going to win it this time. So
absolutely. Well, Mr. Reid, thank you for coming by today.
Thank you very much for having me.
We appreciate you.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Back to you.